What is up, guys? It's your boy Lex, so welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be discussing CoryxKenshin. Mr. Kenshin. Guys, remember to samurai slice this like button when we're covering this story here, okay? Alright, something is happening, okay? Something weird. They are trying to expose CoryxKenshin, okay? CoryxKenshin is being exposed as an SAer, okay? An assaulter of the S, okay? So this story is brand new. It's brand new as hell, okay? We haven't heard Cory's side yet, so keep in mind that the information is still very limited. This is still brand new. I don't think this is even 10 hours old as I'm recording this right now. Let's get into it. So basically what's happening is this whole drama that's happening, that's unfolding about CoryxKenshin. It's about a girl, okay? A woman, an ex-partner, okay? Someone who he used to date. So what happened is Cory was in a relationship with this girl, okay? They were dating for a while. But the relationship wasn't going very well, okay? It was very on and off. It was very weird. Cory was the type of person in the relationship who would show up and be loving, love bombing, showering the girl with lots of love, lots of compliments, lots of attention and stuff. Apparently she had been in a terrible past relationship, and then so now she was in a new relationship with Cory, and Cory was the opposite, being nice and loving and whatever. But there would also come times when Cory would just be ghosting and disappearing and not being as emotionally available, just being left and right all over the place in the relationship, you know? Other days of being loving and other days of being weird and being on and off. I've pulled up her page here. She posted like 100, I heard that she posted like 103 screenshots on here. You can see they're gaining millions and millions of plays. We're gonna go through them together. But I wanna give you guys the basic rundown first so that when we go through this, you can have a bit of a picture of what's happening. You can expect what to see, okay? You're not in the blind. So that's who he was, okay? He was on and off in the relationship. He was being weird. So they ended up breaking up, okay? They broke up. The relationship wasn't going anywhere and they ended up breaking up, okay? So shortly after breaking up, the girl ends up discovering that she has cancer, okay? She was diagnosed with cancer. And she doesn't elaborate on how the cancer is going right now. We don't know. Yet more is to be revealed. But she does have cancer, okay? So upon finding out that she has cancer, you know, I think she was starting to have that emotional thing where you want to unravel your whole life and you want to revisit anything that wasn't hashed out, so to speak, things that you don't have closure on, you know. So she revisited the CoryxKenshin topic, like how can this person who is beloved by many and portrays an image of being this nice and bubbly loved person be this way with me, where he's not like loving and stuff, and he's weird and on and off and very weird and manipulative and not very loving, but to the public he's seen as a loved person, okay? So I think that's when she just started exposing everything. But first, before she did that, she went and confronted him. We're gonna reveal that it's somewhere in these screenshots where she confronted him, and yeah, it didn't go well. I think Cory said some crazy things when she told him that she has cancer. He didn't, I don't think he said something nice there. But we're gonna go through that later, okay? Well, hang on. Now, the most damning thing about this whole thing that is possibly the bigger thing out of everything is there's allegations going around that he sexually assaulted her, okay? These are the allegations that are making the most rounds, that Cory did some crazy stuff to her, that he was this crazy P. Diddy dude to her, okay? And there's video of it, okay, of them discussing it. She was filming it while they were talking about it, and we're gonna go through that video together right now.
I'm still on.
I'm still on.
Then I woke up again and it was off.
Did you watch me sleep?
Hmm?
Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry, I just got this fetish that I do, you know.
What?
I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What'd you do, Cory?
Just don't worry about it.
Cory?
It's good.
Cory, what did you do?
You do nothing. Look, this came right in my face. I didn't do anything.
He did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of
Dragon Ball Z, where you going with this?
So that's the thing that they're talking about, okay? Now, if it's not clear to you, I'm just gonna explain it to you right now. This is happening, this right here, they were clearly still dating and the relationship was still burning strong here when this video is being filmed, and they're coming from this hotel room where they were possibly doing what they were doing, and he's confessing about doing what they were doing, okay? They were still together. It was still going well. So we can kind of assume that it's somewhat consensual, you know, just because they were still dating and he's opening up to about it in a loving way, like in a way that he's just coming forward to, and she's being very happy with the information. She's not like reacting like she was just done extremely dirty or something. So I think we can safely assume that this is somewhat in the safe zone of within their relationship, just because she doesn't seem aggravated about it. She seems aggravated now just because the relationship is finished, and it's the expose, Yeah, again, remember, we're still waiting for CoryxKenshin's response, so take everything with a grain of salt, but I'm just letting you know basically what's happening here, okay? So that's the big SA. If you're hearing about how CoryxKenshin was doing the SA and stuff, this is where it's stemming from, this video right here, okay? This thing that happened here. So there was also a thing about, it's in the screenshots, we're gonna go through them together, about how CoryxKenshin's fan base was also cyber stalking her, and how whenever she'd post something, she was being cyber stalked, and people were viewing everything with closeness, and they were scrutinizing and judging everything, and I don't think she's used to that kind of attention, so it was a bit weird to her, like just all these cyber stalkers just watching her. And also, apparently there was also a close friend of CoryxKenshin who was also in the cyber stalking, also watching her. I don't know about that. Those are adults and or separate people with their own intentions, just doing what they're doing. I don't think it's tied to Cory, but I guess it is. I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Basically, from what I'm seeing here, what's really happening. She's just really mad that Cory portrays himself as this very wholesome person who is 100% purely wholesome to his fan base and to the world, to his subscribers. He's just this extremely wholesome person who's extremely wholesome in the most wholesome of wholesomes. But with her in the relationship, that's not what was happening. She was getting weird energy. She was getting emotional manipulation, emotional distance, on and off weird energy that she couldn't place what was going on. Her head was spiraling. She wasn't knowing what energy she was going to be receiving that day. So yeah, and it ended up ending their relationship, and just weird stuff happened. Okay. And apparently he came back to her DMs trying to use her for sex, after the relationship was done. So that's something that also unfolded. So I'm not saying Cory is innocent at all. I definitely think he was weird to this girl in the relationship, but I don't think it's anything that's worth being a huge expose, I think he was just being a weird dude. Like Cory possibly is just a weird person when it comes to relationships, but not in a way that is cancelable, He's just a person who handles relationships weird, And if you bring it to the public, it starts to look like he's a weird person, but really he's just a person who isn't good at relationships and is possibly gonna be weird in the relationship and say weird things, but as long as it's consensual adults, he can do whatever he wants, Like, I don't know. That's just how I'm seeing it. Again, remember, he's still yet to give his full side of the story, and this girl isn't posting. Nothing is super clear right now. This is 5 hours old or a couple of hours old. I don't know. Yeah, it's saying it's 19 hours old. So anyway, let's go into what she was posting, because she posted a lot of stuff about it, okay?
Bacon avocado. I dated CoryxKenshin, and he hurt me really bad, and I'm not the only one.
Okay, so these are the posts that she was making. I didn't want to, wait, moving too fast. I didn't want to do this, but I don't owe you my silence anymore. There's no clean way to start. Just that familiar weight in my chest while the world kept applauding someone who never showed up for me. You see what I mean? I was never part of your world publicly. You made sure I stayed close, but just far enough to be invisible. Okay? Now, here we are. We're seeing that she is not enjoying that she was not a public partner. She was just in the background. He wasn't showing her to the samurai community, okay? Your followers eat up the whole man of faith image you push, but faith without basic decency in faith is branding, okay? You talk about devotion but act like hurting people. Okay, this is just her venting, being mad. What does it say? When I met you, I was at one of the lowest points in my life. I was still healing, just trying to remember how to love myself after going so long without it. I'm going to give you a little bit of context behind this. Apparently, she was in a past relationship that was also very abusive, okay? And the person in that past relationship before she met Cory is the one who actually did the actual SA to her, okay? So she was SA'd in the past, and she has trauma about that. And maybe she was carrying that into this new relationship as well, okay? I'm just gonna put that in your head so that you know what's going on. Even writing this now has me crying so hard I can barely breathe. The pain still lives in my body like it just happened yesterday. I'm not writing this because I still care. I'm writing this because I've carried so much, too much in silence. You ghosted me not because you were confused, but to teach me a lesson. You made me feel like I had to shrink just to earn a reply. Every move was calculated, even if I couldn't see it back then. Anytime I tried to speak up, you twisted it into something wrong with me. And while I sat alone replaying every word, breaking myself apart, just trying to make sense of it, they were out here calling you a positive role model, okay? So this is what I was telling you about, how she was in the silence, how she was getting on and off good, bad treatment from Cory. They never know how many nights I cried quietly into my pillow, trying to convince myself it wasn't that bad, just so I wouldn't have to admit how deeply it broke me, okay? You never showed up when it mattered. You only came around when it was convenient, when you wanted something, when it was easy. But when I needed care, support, the bare minimum, you vanished, okay? That was your punishment. Silence, distance, disappearing, like affection was something I had to earn. Like loving you too loudly meant I needed to be put in my place. You treated my body, my heart, my time like they were things you could shelve and retrieve whenever it suited you. Like I only existed when you needed to feel wanted, okay? You made sure your absence cut deeper than your presence ever comforted. The worst part, that kind of damage takes effort. So congratulations. Wow. All right. And then came the subtle jabs. You once asked if I wanted to know how much you made. I said no, because I didn't care. I've never depended on anyone. I've worked hard my whole life and made my own money. Respectable. But still, you made me feel small for the job I had. Like I was a disappointment just for not living up to your standards. I never asked for your money, your platform, your help, any of it. Wow, okay. I didn't want what you had. I just wanted to be treated like I mattered, like a human being, okay? But even that felt like too much for you. It probably bothered you that I wasn't impressed, that I didn't melt for your image, your ego, your self-importance, that I saw right through you, but still gave you the chance to be real. But that version of you, the one who couldn't actually care, he never fucking existed. And then came your one grand gesture, okay? Flowers, candy, a teddy bear, and a card. The first thing you ever bothered to give me. The last thing that felt remotely real. Wow. The card said, Nami, the way I feel about you is real. You are so wonderful. You are gentle and kind. Not to mention, sexy, okay? Cory, oh. I miss you, and I hope this puts a big old smile on that pretty face. That's what he wrote, okay? It felt like maybe finally something was different. For a split second, I let it crack my armor. I let myself believe you, okay? When you called that night and poured out a heart-to-heart, said, I've made a lot of mistakes, but you were never one of them. I cried because even after everything, I still wanted to believe you were capable of being good to me. And then the next day, someone told me they saw you in California with another girl, okay? I already knew where you were going. You told me that part. All right. But you never said who you were going with, so I assumed it was your family, okay? That's how it always was with you. I never really knew what you were doing, just whatever pieces you decided to share. All I did was ask calmly, the way anyone seeing someone would. I'm not the type to pry or get jealous over nothing, but when the details don't add up, I pay attention. But you snapped at me. You said it was your sister, got defensive. I wasn't accusing you of anything, I just wanted the truth. But your reaction said everything, even if it really was your sister. The guilt always slipped out before you could cover it. You always gave yourself away. And then you ghosted again. Wow. Do you know what that kind of pattern does to someone? It rewires your nervous system. It teaches you not to trust softness, not to believe kindness. It makes you think that if something feels good, it's probably a setup, okay? That was the real you, not the sweet, funny persona you flashed on camera, just a selfish, image-obsessed coward who cared about looking good than being good, okay? You couldn't even stay in the same room as your own consequences. That's a big word for me, as it turns out. Because accountability doesn't get likes, right? I spent so long asking what was wrong with me, wondering how I could show up with my whole heart and still not be enough, trying to be softer, quieter, easier to love. But the truth is I was never asking for too much. I just kept pouring into someone who never planned to give anything back, okay? You knew how badly I wanted to be loved, so you breadcrumbed just enough affection to keep me hoping, then called me crazy for wanting more. This is the part I was telling you guys about where she was saying that the relationship was on and off, how Cory would show love and would be distant. Let's keep going. I'm gonna make, timestamps in the thing so that you guys can skip through which sections you want to read. But for those who want to go through the whole thing, we're here, okay? I'm drinking water as I'm reading this because I never talked this much in my life. And I still gave you the benefit of the doubt every time. I let your excuses rewrite the truth just so it would hurt a little less. I held your chaos like it was love because that's all you ever offered. I kept handing you chances, kept trying to make sense of the hurt, kept believing maybe there was something good in you worth holding on to. That part's on me. But everything after that, that's all you. Okay, so now we're going to part 2, okay? This is a long read. Buckle up and get some coffee or something. I don't know. Also, these posts are getting lots of likes real time. When I started this video, these were like 1.1 million. But now look, people are coming in, bro. Crazy. Crazy. All right, part 2, where it gets worse. All right, so in part 2 right here, we have screenshots, okay, of some of the conversations they were having. Okay, we're gonna get to that. And then came the Xbox messages. Okay, I guess this is the screenshot I was telling you guys about. It wasn't even what you said, it was how you casually said it. Like nothing you've done had left even a scar. Okay, like you hadn't already shot at me once and just gotten bored. So these are the screenshots. Okay, so what's up? You're still seeing someone? This is Cory. Why do you ask? Because I'm trying to your life up some more. Okay. What? That was a joke. Jeez. I was just asking. Never heard you curse before. That's why it threw me off. That's the girl saying that. Okay. You know what? For this one, I'm just gonna start skipping what she was saying with the blue and just focus on the screenshots so that we can get a bigger image of picture. Because right now we're getting a one-sided take. Okay. Because I wanted you. Wanted me how? Like how I've had you. Okay, like in a relationship type of way or something else, like something else brother was trying to hit. That's kind of messed up. I wasn't a toy. I know that. I wasn't just about to message you after a year and ask you to be my girlfriend. So I guess this is a year after they've broken up. I forgot to mention this to you guys. This is all, not all of this, but I think the main relationship happened in 2018. I read somewhere that it happened in 2018, okay? So just keep that in your mind. But I guess I was just a good F for you, right? When you said relationship, I thought you meant I was just gonna ask you out. Nah, I mean you were, but that's not all you were. Anyway, doesn't matter, you're with someone. That's Cory saying you're with someone right now. And then she replied, that's how it felt at the time. Even if I wasn't, I guess she means even if she wasn't in a relationship, I wouldn't have let you again, okay? And when I did that with you, it's something I just don't do with anyone. You wouldn't have let me F again. That's Cory asking, you really wouldn't have let me F again? And she said, no, I wouldn't. And then he said, I'm glad. I'm the same. I don't F anyone. Double bummer. And then she said, the difference between you and I, though, is that I don't do it with just anyone because I was sexually abused. Okay, I think this is what she was talking about, why I was telling you guys about how she had a past experience, you know, before she met Cory. I'm not saying that for you to feel bad or anything, but for you to understand. I know you told me that. I didn't know I got lumped into the category with the person who did that. Because I was being used. And then she said, because I was being used for that. I guess that time when you told me how you felt was not real too. We're gonna skip that. 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 We're gonna skip all that. We're gonna skip all that. We're gonna skip all that. Backpedal. You were never used for X. Okay. I need to make sure you understand that I loved you. Like I said, I didn't have my shit together. You love me? How is that possible? You see, this is why I was skipping the blue text, because it seems like she's just coming from an angle of hurt. If you refer back to the past, you'll see that she was talking about how she was sent flowers and teddy bears and stuff and everything. And, you know, how the relationship was seemingly real. But here, when you look at it, it seems like she was saying that she's now looking at how he possibly never even loved her to begin with. She was looking at one side. If I'm gonna give my own 2 cents on this, I think Cory is a weird person in that he's even with us, you know, when we're waiting for new videos, Cory will disappear for a year and then he'll post again, but he will disappear for another 2 years and then he'll post again. Okay, this who he is someone who just takes time off to go and be whatever. And I think that's what was happening in this relationship as well. I don't think Cory was taking this relationship too seriously. And he was treating it kind of like how he treats YouTube, where he disappears. But, you know, when you're in a relationship, that doesn't really work. So that's basically what this girl is going through, and she's seeing this right now. But I don't think it's anything too huge. Anyway, I don't know. Let's just keep going. You can read it if you want. This is a page, by the way. It's called pandaninjaxxofficial. Just go read it if you want. So we're gonna start here because this is where the blue starts being a little bit more relevant. So I reached out to you. I didn't reach out to you because I was weak. I did it because if my time was up, I wasn't taking your unfinished damage with me, okay? So this is the part where she's coming out saying, you know what? I have the cancer. I have cancer now. She's just discovered that she has cancer, and she's now confronting Cory like, hey, what was going on with us, you know? Why were you weird to me? I'm dying. Why were you weird? Just answer my question. Why were you weird, you know? And what did you say? She revealed the cancer to Cory, and Cory answered with this. That was the most passive aggressive cancer reveal ever. LOL. Okay. I'm trying to be supportive of Cory, but this right here, this is a messed up response to someone who's telling you that they have cancer, okay? This right here is messed up. That wasn't just cold. Yeah, that was fucking cruel. Yeah, I agree. It hit harder than the diagnosis itself. Okay, I don't know about that part, but yeah. If that kind of cruelty comes easily, were they ever human at all? I can't lie. That was a weird response from Cory. I can't really back that one, even if I try to. That was just a weird response. I lived. And when I came out the other side, I wasn't alone. I was held by someone who loved me with no agenda. That's what healing looks like. That's what love actually is. That was the moment I realized you were really who you really were. That was the moment. Okay. We're gonna skip some more. We're gonna skip some more because it's even a lot more. Okay. Yep. I was right to skip because it was a lot of craziness. All right. She posted part 3 as well. There's also a part 3. We're gonna go look at it right now. This part 3, this is just her talking some more about how she feels about the relationship. I'm gonna read through that. So I asked, oh, you're a fan of Cory? She said, yeah. I said, I'm not. She followed up with, why? It came off like a curious question, like maybe she knew more than she was letting on, but I wasn't about to assume, right? So I kept it short. We dated, it didn't work out. I didn't realize how she even found me until later. After that post and our conversation, something felt off. So I did some digging. I saw she was following you on Xbox. That's when it clicked. She must have found me through Xbox. I don't know how many others she did that with. At the time, she hadn't done anything weird. She just seemed nice, just another follower showing support. We had light conversations, nothing alarming. She liked some posts, messages here and there. And when you're a creator, that kind of thing happens all the time. So I didn't overthink it, but the vibe was off, like she was watching me, then connecting. I didn't have proof. I just had a gut feeling. I should have listened to it. I think this is where she was talking about how there was another person who Cory did this to. So it's kind of like they're banding together, the exes of Cory, like how they were treated, you know, and pulling up proof together or something. Then the anonymous IG account showed up. They started calling her out directly. At first, the way they worded it made it sound like I was part of the problem too. But that wasn't the case. I messaged them directly to clear it up. They listened. They removed the part about me. That's when they clarified they weren't trying to come for me. They were trying to warn me, and they were calling N out. They didn't have my full story, but they knew enough to see that you weren't good to me. And somehow, N knew it too. Who's N? Can someone let me know in the comments? Before she even interacted with me, that's when things started to click. Because this was a new behavior, and had done this before. Turns out she had a reputation in your space, though I didn't know that then. I don't even know what I'm reading right now. Maybe you guys in the comments know. I was still assuming someone, especially you, might step in and shut the chaos down. The account eventually explained their full intent. They wanted the truth out, but about you mostly, okay? But also about N. For the cruel, manipulative stuff she was doing in your community. Who is this N? Inserting yourself into the lives of the women you were connected to, digging, meddling, and then twisting things. Maybe she's a super fan? I don't know. N messaged you directly, tried to paint her own version of the story, one where I was the problem, and you were aware that you were aware of what was happening. You never asked me what was going on, never checked in, never even questioned why your name was suddenly tangled in quiet drama, okay? She just watched it unfold like it had nothing to do with you. And not long after that, one of your close friends, Brandon, someone who had never acknowledged me, suddenly started watching my IG stories like clockwork, like he was assigned, like you were waiting to see if I'd finally speak. Okay, this is the close friend who was stalking her. I think this is the section where people were stalking her that I was talking about earlier. So this is Brandon in her stories, viewing in her stories, I think, on Instagram. No apology, no courage, just surveillance. And although I hate drama, this was never something I wanted to be part of, especially when I was minding my own damn business. It started to feel like a sign, a push I didn't ask for, but maybe needed. And looking back, I'm grateful. Because of that, I met the other women you heard. One by one, I got introduced to more of them. Women with stories, women with messages they never sent. Women who saw the same patterns. The same affection when it benefited you, the same withdrawal when emotions got real. Blame always shifted onto the other person. For the first time in a long time. For the first time in a long time. First time in the longest time. First time in a long time. Hurting deeply inside. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I did. All right. The weight I'd been dragging alone didn't feel so heavy anymore. We weren't alone and we weren't broken, just convinced we were. Okay? I think she's now meeting the other person who had the same encounter with Cory. Okay, let's continue. They stayed quiet just like I did because they didn't think their voice would matter, because it's easier to carry the pain than to explain it. The pain doesn't need permission to be real, all right? That's a deep bar. God damn. Maybe I was meant to be the one to speak, but they're ready too. Until they're ready too, okay? So there's possibly another girl who's gonna come out and start saying stuff like this. So watch out. The story is still unfolding, guys. They are not alone, because everyone deserves that moment. The one where it's safe to exhale, to feel seen, to be heard, to remember they're real. This is my story to tell and theirs to protect until they're ready. Why speak now? As if timing ever made truth more comfortable. Because I was tired of living like your name held more weight than my voice. Tired of wondering if speaking would get me heard or destroyed. Oh, damn. Afraid that the second I said your name, people would stop seeing me and start labeling. That the world would care more about protecting your reputation than hearing what you did, while everything I am, everything I built, risked, overshadowed by you, okay? Some people told me to stay quiet, thinking it would protect me, but that kind of protection still hurt because it made me feel like the world wasn't ready to hear the truth. And maybe it still isn't. Maybe they still side with you. I'd rather be hated for telling the truth than stay silent for protecting your comfort or their denial. This was never about revenge. This was about accountability. You wore kindness in public and cruelty in private. And silence helped you get away with both. I'm done swallowing my story so you can keep your fake reputation intact. Why didn't I leave? Because I was human. Because CoryxKenshin has 20 million subscribers. No. Come on. Because I wanted to believe he wasn't as cold as he acted. Because part of me thought love meant fighting through the worst. Because people love to ask, why didn't you just leave? Like they never clung to the wrong person out of hope. Like they've never swallowed their own voice just to keep the peace. But they never ask, why did he make it so hard? Why did he keep coming back just enough to confuse me? Why did he never let me go, but never fully chose me either? Wow, that's a good one. I didn't stay because I was weak. I stayed because I wanted to believe it would get better, okay? Because I forgot what I was worth. Because I didn't know how much damage had been done. Because when you're constantly made to feel like you're the issue, you start believing pain is what you deserve. But I'm not that girl anymore. Even soft girls snap when they've had enough. And I had enough, okay? I'm not going to say the F-bomb there. YouTube might come for me. And behind all that, life was heavy, okay? I was dragging pain nobody could see, trying to survive stuff I couldn't even name. Let's get one thing straight. I didn't write this for you to believe me. I'm not here to ruin him. I'm not asking you to pick sides. I'm asking you to sit with the truth, even if it makes you sick, okay? He hurt people. He manipulated, discarded, and walked away. Clean. Every time, okay? I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. Unless someone finally says something, which is you, I guess. I didn't speak up for years, so I guess it's true that it did happen in 2018. So, that's a long time ago. That's 7 years ago, bro. That's crazy. Not because I had nothing to say, but because I knew this. I knew how this world treats women who speak up against men with status, okay? I knew I'd be labeled bitter, jealous, unstable. I knew his fans would tear me down before they ever tried to understand me. because I knew people would stop seeing me and only see who I was connected to. You don't know me. You don't know me, son. David Goggins. You don't know him either. You know the version he shows you. You know the one the one you want to believe. You weren't there. I was. So if you want to excuse him, go ahead. But own what you're defending, because you're part of it. You're not defending a good man, you're defending a mask. You can side with him, just don't act surprised when more stories surface, okay? You've been warned. He didn't just hurt me, he hurt many, okay? Your loyalty to him doesn't make you brave, it makes you blind. To the girls still watching him with heart eyes in your eyes, thinking you'd be the exception because you're different, prettier, more understanding, more his type, you won't be. He doesn't need a better woman. He doesn't need a better man. What? Okay, hold on. He doesn't need a better woman. He needs to become a better man, okay? He won't. He could be stunning. You could be stunning, soft, loyal, everything he claims he wants, and still it won't stop. That's coming. Because he doesn't just hurt people, he mentally chips away at them. He makes you question your worth, your memory, your tone, your reactions. That's how bad, that's not just bad communication, that's emotional and mental abuse, okay? Now ask yourself this, would he stay if things got real, messy, vulnerable, human? Would he show up when there's nothing in it for him? Would he make you feel safe? Or just make sure he feels comfortable? Would he be there if your life fell apart tomorrow? You don't have to wait for proof. The red flags are already there. I swear I've chugged like 2 liters of water just in this video alone, just trying to keep my mouth good for reading this, okay? If you love yourself, live now before you lose pieces of your mind, your heart, and your identity. Trying to decode a man who was never meant to be held. Wow, that's tough. Because no version of yourself, not the strongest, most beautiful, most forgiving, can fix a man who's addicted to power over your soul. Wow, bro. Damn, but it's 7 years ago. That's crazy. To those who looked up to him, I know your experience may have been different. Some of you found comfort in his content, maybe even hope when you needed it most, and I won't take that from you. But the truth I've shared here is mine. It may be hard to read. It was even harder to live through and write about. If this changes how you see him, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for what that takes from you. But I couldn't keep swallowing my pain just to protect the version of him the world wanted to believe in. I know not everyone will be ready to hear this. Some will deny it, some will defend him, some will twist it into something it's not, because facing the truth is harder than holding on to the version they were shown. People will say what they want. They always do. I didn't write this for them. I wrote it because I was there and they weren't. And that's the only difference that matters. No extra words, no permission, no apology, just truth, okay? And that's the end of all the screens, okay? This is all she wrote. So she goes on to share this video. I already played this video for you guys. And then this is them in 2018, okay? They were dating. Things were still good. This is them in a kissing booth, doing the kisses. And this is them kissing on camera with Cory looking weird. Like, you're actually getting this on camera while we're kissing. It looks dodgy. That's a dodgy look. Yes, Cory, why couldn't you be more romantic, bro? Why are you looking at the camera like that, bro? Cory, you're weird, bro. So yeah, so this is what's happened, okay? So what do I think of this? You can have your own take. I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think that they were dating seriously, but Cory was just weird, the same way that he is weird to us on YouTube, where he doesn't upload as much and he will disappear and he'll ghost and then he'll come back and then he'll ghost again and then he'll come back. I think he was doing this, but in a relationship, which is definitely bad. You shouldn't do that in a relationship. In a relationship, you need to be more caring. You need to be there for your partner. You need to make them feel like you're present for them, okay? That's how you nurture a sustainable, loving relationship. This is not how you do it, obviously. So Cory is definitely wrong for treating this girl this way and supposedly trying to use her for sex, you know? That's not good at all. But I think this girl as well is blowing things times 3, times 4 out of proportion to what they actually are. I think that she was diagnosed with cancer, okay? And when you're dying, which is a sad thing, I'm not gonna take that away from her or try to denigrate it, but if you're diagnosed with cancer, you know, the world can change, you know, how you view the world can turn into something else. You can kind of see this as someone who's trying to get revenge for how they think they were slighted in a relationship, of which we can say that they were, but I don't know if she's going about it the right way. She's now coming, like, I don't mean to take this away from her, guys. I hope I don't seem like I'm a terrible person here, but I'm just gonna let you know how this looks, okay? She's coming off like someone who's trying to just gain revenge on somebody. And the evidence that they're trying to throw, like they're trying to throw everything. They're trying to throw sexual assault. They're trying to throw manipulative, abusive, you know? Like, again, we went there, and she's right about that. She's the one who truly knows what they went through and what they were going through and what was happening. But yeah, I don't know. This one is a very nuanced case because, again, it's coming from one side. We are yet to hear what Cory has to say about this. Maybe he has his own proof. Maybe he has his own screenshots. Maybe he has his own talking points and stuff. So we're yet to find out. But so far, this is what Panda Ninja, a.k.a. Nina, I think that's the girl. Her name is Nina, right? This is what she had to say about the whole situation, and this is what's happening, okay? Keep in mind, this was a relationship that was happening in 2018. That was 7 years ago. What was I doing in 7 years? What was I doing 7 years ago? 7 years ago, 2018, I don't even know, bro. So keep that in mind. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is a crazy story. This is the longest video I've ever made. It's gonna be hell to edit, but we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna get it out for you guys as quickly as possible. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share what you think in the comments below. And with that being said, peace, guys. See y'all in the next video.